Bungie's 30th anniversary is coming up, starting on the 7th of December, so we've got a new 6-person match-made activity. The Galahorn is returning, plus we've got the Thorn armour sets, Destiny 1 weapons, and a whole bunch of Bungie-themed celebratory items to get in the game. Well, today I'm going to comb through all the information that we've got related to Bungie's 30th anniversary, so you can make an informed decision whether or not to buy. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, Bungie was formed in 1991, so this year it's their 30th birthday. And Bungie is celebrating big time inside of Destiny 2. Well, the 30th anniversary pack is going to have free and paid elements, plus there's going to be a whole load of loot for us to collect. You can either pick up the 30th anniversary pack alongside your order with Witch Queen, as I did, or you can purchase the 30th anniversary pack for a standalone fee of about $25. So as well as the loot that we get as part of the event, we got a significant Sandbox update, and that is going to be free for all players, by the way, and that is going to switch things up in the current meta. Well, Bungie has a dedicated website to the 30th anniversary, and it does give some clues as to what is free and what is paid for. Well, let's have a look at the 30th anniversary new content. First of all, let's have a look at the free elements. So at the top of the website, there's a section, and it says everyone's invited, so it's relatively safe to assume that we're going to get all of this for free. So they say a new 6-player match-made activity. There's weapons to collect, so we don't know if we're going to get weapons that are thematically related to that 6-player match-made activity, or if they're D1 weapons, but I would be willing to bet they're going to put the D1 weapons inside the dungeon. They talk about new secrets to unravel, so it could refer to some story elements, but it's unlikely going to be related to Season of the Lost story. Therefore, it could be its own self-contained story, much like we had with Festival of the Lost. And we do see Xur in the promotional material, so maybe we'll finally get a little bit of background information about Xur. They also mention collectible rewards, so Bungie say we can get collectible rewards that commemorate our long and storied history, so really looking forward to see what that could be. Well, as well as the free activities, secrets and items, there's also the Sandbox update too, that is free as well, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a little bit. Well, next up, let's have a look at the paid content. So this dungeon is inspired by the famed Cosmodrome loot cave from Destiny 1, and Bungie say on the website you want to spelunk into the unknown, earn the new Thorn armour set, and watch your step as you hunt for lost relics. So that really is leaning pretty hard into the loot cave meme of years gone by, but that Thorn armour set looks really, really good. Can't wait to get my hands on that. Plus they talk about hunting for lost relics, and I reckon that is a batch of old D1 weapons. They've talked about the IS Luna, the 1,000-yard stare. It's the 2 classics there coming back from Destiny 1, and I reckon there's going to be a whole lot more too. Well, we also have Gjallarhorn, so Bungie say complete a quest to unlock the classic exotic rocket launcher and use it to plunder the new dungeon. Then charge the catalyst and face the power that has made this iconic weapon stand the test of time. So Galahorn was a classic back in year 1 of Destiny 1, and then it made its return in year 3 of Destiny 1. But this is the first time that the Galahorn is going to be in Destiny 2, and it's going to be interesting to see how it comes back. I don't think it's going to come back in the state or as powerful as it was in Destiny 1, but it is a major motivation for many players to pay for the 30th anniversary pack to get their hands on Galahorn once again, so I reckon it is still going to pack a mighty punch. We've got more loot too, so iconic weapons, armour, ornaments, emotes, sparrows, ghost shells, and more. So the phrasing of iconic weapons makes me think that the D1 weapons are going to be in the dungeon. So the IS Luna, that's a hand cannon, the 1,000-yard stare, that's a sniper rifle. And we don't yet know how many total weapons are coming back from Destiny 1. But there's also weapons based on other Bungie games, like the Claymore from Myth, and also the shotgun from Marathon. And that Claymore really looks like it could do some damage. Well, as well as the Thorn armour set that we can earn, we've got some ornament sets as well. So Bungie say you can unlock the Marathon-inspired ornament set, as well as the 30th anniversary streetwear-inspired ornament set too. There's plenty of fashionable items made available in the 30th anniversary pack. So there's plenty of content here to be excited about. You know, we haven't had a new dungeon in the game since Prophecy, arguably the game's best dungeon to date. This dungeon looks like it's going to be loot themed, which makes sense in the context of a celebration event. So I'm really looking to see what the dungeon team has come up with regarding the design, as they keep getting better over time. If you haven't dived into the dungeons in the game already, well, you've got the Shattered Throne on the Dreaming City, the Pit of Heresy on the Moon, and also the Prophecy dungeon in the Tower. Well, of course, I'm going to be looking forward to Galahorn coming back. Bungie's weapon design lead recently guested on DCP Live, the Destiny community podcast, and did say that Galahorn was changed, so maybe don't expect it to be all powerful as it was back at the end of Year 1 in Destiny 1. So I remember those LFG posts saying must have Galahorn, and we don't really want to see those again, although Galahorn has been replaced these days with 1k. Well, I don't really mind paying for the content, given I'm a massive fan of Bungie, not only Destiny but also Halo. And hopefully they're going to be able to sneak some Halo into Destiny, but given Microsoft own the Halo rights, it may be a stretch to see a Destiny and Halo crossover. Leaks in the past pointed to the pistol from Halo making it to the game, but we've only had the confirmed Claymore from Myth and the shotgun from Marathon, as I previously mentioned. Well, next up, let's have a look at the Sandbox update. So we've talked about the loot, but we're getting a pretty significant Sandbox update too. So I'm going to go through the changes to archetypes, perks and mods. I did a specific video the other day on the exotic changes. You can check that out on the channel if you want to know more. The TLDR on the exotic changes are you're probably going to want to pick up Sleeper Simulant and Whisper of the Worm before the Sandbox update, as both are going to be monsters of DPS in the not too distant future. So first of all, let's have a look at the archetype changes, starting off with shotguns. So Bungie say, in Season 11, we wanted to see if slugs could be viable in PvE, with a high enough reward for the risk of being close and the time it takes to aim to the head. Well, good news, they are viable. However, they currently outclass pellet shotguns and many other special ammo options, not to mention being part of a dominant boss melt tactic, and we'd like to equalise this just a little bit. However, since the pellet shotguns are easier to use than slug shotguns, they don't really need a large bump. So what they've done is reduce the slug shotgun PvE damage bonus from 30% to 20% and gave pellet shotguns a 10% PvE damage bonus. Next up, we got linear fusion rifles. So in Season 14, we bumped these up, but believe that while their potential damage output competes numerically, and they're extra hot right now because of the sweet particle deconstruction artifact mod, they can't really compete with the ease of use for other damage options, and last time they got a precision damage buff, but this time it's a flat damage buff. So increase linear fusion rifles PvE damage by 10%. We've got the caster swords next, so we ship this with a high heavy attack ammo cost to offset great melee weapons, and it's also got a good ranged attack, but now we believe it's safe to reduce the ammo cost. So reduce the heavy attack ammo cost from 8 to 5. Next up we got bows. So in Season 11 we bumped up bow damage by 10% versus rank and file enemies. Having seen this in-game for a few seasons, it now seems safe to nudge them up again. So increase the damage versus rank and file enemies by about 10%. Then also we got sidearms and fusion rifles, so due to an ancient data entry error, sidearms and fusion rifle projectiles were non-hit scans. So behind the scenes, the engine does the math converting a projectile from non-hit scan to hit scan if it would cover a specific distance in one frame. So this would only occur if you're running at 60 FPS or higher. So shout out to a specific community that provide us with evidence on this issue. You know who you are. So increase the sidearm fusion projectile speed from 999 to 9999, which basically makes them hit scan regardless of frame rate. Well, next up we've got changes to perks. So we've got Adrenaline Junkie. So this perk wasn't performing as well as intended, and the path of least resistance was making it live up to its dev name, and that is Grenade Buckler. So basically like Swashbuckler, but for grenades. So eliminations with the weapon can add a single damage stack or extend existing ones. Then you've got Grenade Elimination boosts these stacks immediately to 5 and lowered the duration to compensate for weapon activation. So basically, if you've got any rolls of any weapons with Adrenaline Junkie, I would dust them off and get them out of your vault. Next up, we've got Vorpal Weapon. So a perk that grants 15% bonus damage against all targets I'm going to use on my heavy weapon. Well, this was a non-choice and sucked the air out of the room for all other damage perks. At the same time, it was failing its original role, giving players a reason to run primary weapons against tough targets. So it was 15% damage on all weapons, now it's 10% on heavy weapons, 15% on special, and 20% on primary. So if you've got any primary weapons with Vorpal Weapon, these are going to perform really, really well. There's no change to damage versus the player in Super. Next up, we got Whirlwind Blade. So this too was obviously the best sword damage perk all round, and also while we're fine with it being a good sustained damage, we pulled it back for shorter flights, to increase the number of stacks needed to hit maximum damage from 5 to 10. Well, next we got Pulse Monitor. So what if instead of activating on what feels like a failed state, this activated on a state that you'll be in almost every encounter, even if you're winning. So change the threshold for activation from 90% health to 30% shield, i.e. now this requires much less damage to trigger. So some pretty good changes there all round, but next up let's have a look at the mods. So we've got Quick Access Sling. The usage on this mod is very telling. It's extensively used on bows and breach grenade launchers and barely used at all on other weapons. At the same time, we pulled down some options players had for improving their swap speed and wanted to make an option available for building towards that on all legendary weapons. So we are going to be watching how this feels in the wild and may revisit it later. So we've also got the full auto retrofit, so we've seen plenty of requests for an accessibility option allowing for full auto fire, particularly on fast firing semi-automatic weapons. So we've got a setting option in the works for a season after the Witch Queen launches, but decided to put in a stopgap to help players until we're able to ship it. So added a full auto retrofit weapon mod that enables full auto while the trigger is held, and it is usable on legendary handgunners, sidearms, scout rifles and pulse rifles, and that is unlocked by default for all players. Well, let me know what you think of Bungie's 30th anniversary celebration, and let me know what specifically you are looking forward to. Well, that is it for this look at everything we know about Bungie's 30th anniversary event in Destiny 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.